Sacramento, Stockton. First at 10. NewsPlus, the 10 o'clock news.
Hello, everyone. As expected, California's Agriculture Director has ordered all wild bees destroyed in a 50-mile radius of the Kern County site where African honeybees were found. Pat McConaughey explains the eradication effort as well as what this program means to a killer bee migration that's predicted here in the future.
State agriculture officials have already eliminated 12 hives of wild bees in Kern County. The department itself is hunting them down up to a 10-mile radius. Officials are then asking the public to locate wild bees from a 10 to 40-mile radius. The state will destroy all of them with pesticides. The decision follows the recommendations of a blue ribbon advisory panel of bee experts.
We think that after we listened to the advisory committee yesterday in Bakersfield, and incidentally, the advisory committee has got a world of experience behind it. And some of those people have been working just with African-ized bees for over 20 years. They've been in Brazil and South America and studied them. So we have a lot of confidence in their recommendations.
Those recommendations also include the testing of commercial hives within a 400-square-mile area. Well, this eradication program is not the end of the bee story. In 1975, a Kansas University professor predicted a northward migration of African bees from South America. So far, experts say that invasion is on schedule. The bees hit Costa Rica in 1983. They're expected to reach the Texas-Mexico border in 1988 and then hit California. Barry Hill says, unfortunately, our current problem won't prepare us for that invasion.
We have an isolated situation over here. This is going to be a continuation of movement, and they're moving at the rate of 200 to 300 miles a year. And so you're going to have some kind of a protocol to stop those prior to when they reach the Texas border.
Barry Hill says eradication will be up to the federal government. As for this program, he doesn't know how long it will take, but it's unlikely these so-called killer bees will have any long-term effects on California. Whether the invasion is serious remains to be seen. For News Plus, I'm Pat McConaughey.
Question: how much water needs to flow through the American River to keep the river animals alive and allow a multi-million-dollar recreation industry to survive? That's the question Sacramento County supervisors asked the public tonight as they prepare an all-out fight for the river's water rights. The supervisors are trying to develop a battle plan that would give them some control over the release of water from Folsom Dam and prevent water agencies such as the East Bay Municipal Utilities District from diverting the water flows at the Folsom South Canal. So far, the focus of their battle has been a suit against the Bay Area Utility Company and a request for assistance from Washington. Tonight, a spokesman for Sacramento's 2 congressmen told the supervisors that Matsui and Fazio support the county's efforts, but federal assistance may not be possible.
Key element in guaranteeing the success of the county's proposal hinges on positive congressional action. While this approach is commendable, we feel it may be overly ambitious and optimistic.
The supervisors will continue public hearings on the river in September and hope to draft a final battle plan by the end of the year. Sacramento County is making a move to stop big business high-profit bingo from expanding. This afternoon, the Board of Supervisors approved a moratorium on new profit bingo parlors. The new ordinance allows 3 bingo operations that have already applied for permits to open, but bans the creation of any new non-charity parlors. The bingo moratorium, along with new special licensing for bingo operators, is designed to protect charities from the competition of commercial bingo, in addition to approving the moratorium.
Task force will address 3 major areas. First is regulation of bingo. Secondly would be the expansion and desirability of expansion of charity bingo in the unincorporated area. And thirdly would be the issue of some of the ambiguities currently found in the local ordinance and state laws.
The 5-member task force will have 180 days to prepare their report. The Western Placer Unified School District is serious about fighting drug abuse among children of all ages. The district, which includes the communities of Lincoln, Sheridan, and Valley View, received $105,000 from the Governor's Office of Criminal Justice Planning at a ceremony today. The district shares the award with the Lincoln Police Department. The 2 organizations are using the money in a cooperative program to fight drug abuse in schools.
I think one of the most important things about this grant is it will be training teachers. It will be training 20 of them who will then be able to carry this program on into the future after the grant funding ends in another year. We'll also be doing community awareness programs for the community, teaching law enforcement officers, and teaching parents about drug abuse.
The Lincoln Project is one of just 19 to be funded throughout the state because of its commitment to the problem. A district spokesperson says surveys show the rural Lincoln area has as much of a drug problem as urban areas.
We've had 2 community awareness sessions and parent training sessions open to the public. Some businesses even closed their business so all people could attend that. We've had 150 people at those kinds of meetings in Lincoln.
That grant runs through July. The county's 911 emergency phone system is designed to save lives, and it did just that yesterday morning when the life of a young boy was saved by a cool 911 operator.
Meet 18-month-old Andrew Andrioli, better known as AJ. The lively youngster is not at home, but at Mercy San Juan Hospital. His parents will be taking him home soon. Only yesterday morning, AJ's mother, Tammy, found him floating at the top of the family pool here in Orangevale. He had somehow gotten past the locked gate of the fenced-in area. By the time Tammy pulled him out, AJ had already turned blue and was not breathing.
I was crying and yelling at him at the same time, trying to see if he could hear me, and then I just ran back into the house and laid him on our carpet and reached for the phone and dialed 911.
At the county's Fire Communications Center, computers located her home and help was sent. It was senior dispatcher Boyd Cole who took further action.
Okay, we're on it. Ma'am, you're going to have to take a breath. Calm down.
We're trained, and we try to train others to maintain calm and try to calm them down. In her case, I had to yell at her. I got her calmed down enough. A lot of times, they can do the saving before we ever get there.
Cole was able to talk Tammy through the correct CPR procedure.
Put your mouth over the nose and mouth and puff in. And what?
When he came on the line, he told me the right way to do it, and it worked. I don't think AJ would be alive today, or at least normal, if it hadn't been for him.
Every time I hear the tape and then hear what happened, it sends a tingle up your back. It really feels good.
For News Plus, this is Lonnie Wong reporting.
Boy, a reassuring report. Ahead on News Plus, believe it or not, a phone book cover has people up in arms in a little town in Wyoming. We'll tell you why and what's being done about it when Steve Wilson begins the first of a 2-part report.
Bob Delaney's second annual Antique and Collector Car Auction is Labor Day weekend at the Fresno Fairgrounds. Call this number now because it's the place to sell your special interest car. 443-8888. We've reached thousands of buyers through our national advertising campaign. Many will be at the fairgrounds. It's Central California's largest. Call us now, 443-8888, and save a third on the early bird entry fee and receive your free information brochure. It's the opportunity of the year. Enter your car now by calling 443-8888.
Tony and I talked last night. You didn't work it out, did you? No, it's over. Look, I know you tried. I've decided to call a lawyer.
When it's time to call a lawyer about a divorce, call Jacoby and Myers.
Nancy, I'm sorry about your uncle. Anything I can do?
Thanks, Tom. I did promise Aunt Millie I'd find a probate lawyer, with a will transferring the property.
I know someone.
When it's time to call a probate lawyer, call Jacoby and Myers. Jacoby and Myers. It's about time.
Turn around to Turner, the #1 Nissan Datsun dealer in the USA. It's Turner Trucktown's grand opening celebration, and that means big savings to you on every new 1985 4x4 in stock. For a limited time only, Turner Trucktown is offering 4.4% financing on their huge selection of 1985 4x4 trucks. That's right, 4.4% financing. For the best prices and best financing, there's just one place to turn. Turner Nissan Datsun, the #1 Nissan Datsun dealer in the USA.
This is the weekend our dad was supposed to build with a tree house. Too expensive.
He needs the club.
The club?
At Home Club, we never have a sale because our prices are low every day. At Lumberjack, we bought this Schlage brass double-cylinder deadbolt for $17.99. As a Home Club member, you'll pay just $13.73. Home Club is open to the public and near you at 7301 Franklin Boulevard.
George C. Scott and Marlon Brando star in The Formula. Saturday at 8 on TV 40.
An unlikely book is the hottest item in one little town. If you had to buy them, they'd be bestsellers, but everyone gets them free. We're talking about telephone directories, and though they are usually not terribly controversial, they are causing quite a fuss in Wyoming, in the Wyoming town of Jackson Hole. In fact, they're the talk of the town. Reporter Steve Wilson made a trip to the Tetons to take a look.
It's that kind of town, Jackson Hole, Wyoming, home of the $1 Million Cowboy Bar and packed with thousands of summertime tourists who come to shop and to watch the Wild West show. And the nightly rodeo where a city kid from Cleveland can find out how long he can ride a sheep. But the biggest showdown in town right now isn't for the tourists. It's for the tourist dollar, and whether or not this will help any merchant make a buck where he can. It's the new Jackson Hole telephone book, and it's high noon for the people who made it and the people who paid to advertise in it.
They're hot. They are hot. They are feeling double dealt.
Suzanne Young at the Chamber of Commerce says as soon as the book was out, her phone started ringing.
Cowgirls in good-looking tight jeans or something is indeed a part of the Western culture out here. There was something about that particular shot that hit a nerve.
I mean, that's not the way women in Jackson Hole really are. Look at us. Don't we look like that? The stereotype that's like that is really kind of crazy.
My waitresses tore the cover off as soon as it came in the place.
Is that right?
Yeah.
They were offended?
Immediately.
Why?
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't know it was you.
Yeah, it was me. I really felt like it was in poor taste, and I didn't want my community represented that way.
But then the whole idea really backfired when the Grand Teton Lodge Company, which operates 3 lodges here in the National Park area, decided not to put any of the books in the guest rooms before anybody even complained.
We didn't give them an opportunity to complain. We made the decision not to put the phone book in the guest rooms as soon as we saw it.
So hundreds of guests here at the area's biggest lodge never had a chance to see it, or the ads in the yellow pages that local merchants paid for them to see. And not only here, they pulled it out of the rooms at the Wart Hotel downtown, the same place where they had female mud wrestling last summer when the place was under different management. And the book is also gone from several smaller places, too, like this motel, where the owner says people were complaining.
They're appalled at the cover. They say, why didn't you put scenery on the cover? That's what we came here for.
And there's no shortage of beautiful scenery in this part of the country, but beauty, as they say, is in the eye of the beholder. And that's why the new phone book has become a hot collector's item at $20 a copy, which only compounds the problems of all those people who paid to advertise in the yellow pages.
As far as the day-to-day usage of the book and having people be able to refer to it, know when we're open, that we are a bakery as well as a restaurant, and come to us, I don't think it's really doing the job that it should do.
Tomorrow, the publisher admits maybe it was bad judgment that could cost her a bundle. The National Organization for Women jumps in, and we track down the artist in Nevada.
I never really thought of it as sexist. I thought of it as more Western than anything else.
Steve Wilson, NewsPlus in Jackson Hole, Wyoming.
Like it or not, it'll be a collector's item for a long time to come. In a country only 209 years old, we don't often get to celebrate a 500th anniversary. But Scott McDonald has the story. In a country only 209 years old, we don't often get to celebrate a 500th anniversary. But Scott McDonald has the story of a local event that can take you back 5 centuries.
A walk through the 3rd floor of the State Library can take you on one of the most famous trails in English literature. Tales of chivalry and romance from a story first printed 500 years ago today.
The first edition of the King Arthur Legends, printed by Caxton. The volume was completed at that time using the Mallory edition of the Legends, which at that time were almost 500 years old.
In this borrowed collection from a Los Angeles doctor, there is a facsimile of that first edition and a 6th edition original printed in 1634. The display showed not only how the art of bookmaking changed with beautiful illustrations and other editions, but also how the story of King Arthur and his knights evolved.
The original Mallory is a very violent, exciting, if you look at it in that context, story of knighthood, magicians, wizards, queens, princesses, and the Brotherhood of the Round Table.
Strong says Victorian editions wiped out much of the violence and emphasized chivalry and brotherhood. King Arthur is still popular today in books and films such as Camellia and Excalibur, as well as a controversial board game.
Dungeons and Dragons, for example, that many, many kids play. Still, it's as controversial probably as the Victorian discussion of of the nature of the tails themselves. That certainly is not a solved issue yet.
The exhibit runs through September. Scott McDonald for NewsPlus.
Sounds like a neat exhibit, doesn't it, Jim?
Coming up in sports, Andy, we have got a great big story working in San Francisco. Also, we'll talk with Joe Klein and Bill Walsh, and we'll have highlights of the Giants-Dodgers game.
For 1985, Mercedes-Benz moves beyond disc brakes to brakes that think. The Mercedes-Benz anti-lock braking system. A computer-regulated system that automatically modulates braking pressure up to 10 times a second. So even in sudden braking, on a slippery, wet surface, you retain precise steering control. The Mercedes-Benz anti-lock braking system.
Feel the lather on your skin. What a nice way to begin. And the scent gets cool